Broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hi, this is the Health Ranger Mike Adams from naturalnews.com, and I'm listening to Justin and Kate on Extreme Health Radio. Tune in every day for awesome shows that will empower you to change your life.
Hey everybody, this is Justin. I just wanted to let you know that I apologize for this, but the first couple minutes of this podcast, they're going to sound a little bit strange and a little bit different. I accidentally forgot to press the record button, so I apologize for that. But after the first couple minutes, the audio quality will get much, much better like it normally is. So we apologize, but thank you for hanging on with us.
Oh, we are just so excited to be back. I'm stuffing my face full of, what is this, a chia seed pudding, Kate?
It is. It's a raw chia seed pudding.
My goodness.
You like it?
You have a little bit of One World Way in there. You have some, I saw you put some collagen in. I tried to sneak some collagen in.
I did. I put gelatin.
Some hemp seeds, some chia seeds.
A little bit of vanilla extract and some cinnamon.
Golly.
And some coconut.
I could eat a whole bowl of that.
Coconut cream. Oh, good. Welcome to Monday.
Welcome to Monday. Well, we are so excited to be here. We have Gayl Hubatch, Dr. Hubatch on the line today, all the way from Texas. So this is going to be a really great interview. And this is episode 340 of Extreme Health Radio. So if you want to catch any of the show notes or get anything that we talked about during today's episode, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/340 and catch all of that. And we do broadcast live 2 days a week on Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you want to join the chat room, make some friends, and ask some questions, go to extremehealthradio.com/live, and we would appreciate that. And today's show is brought to you by the amazing Bellicon Rebounder. My favorite little contraption, and I use it every single day. Last night I was up till midnight using it because I had to get my rebounding in. And it's great because it's a cellular exercise. It increases bone density, and it really cleanses out the lymphatic system. It's amazing cellular exercise that exercises and stimulates every cell in the body. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon, BELLICON, and you can check out that there. And like I said, we do broadcast live 2 days a week on Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And today we have Gayl Hubatch, and this is going to be a great show. She is a licensed acupuncturist, and she's she's on the board or diplomat of the NCCAOM, National Board of Oriental Medicine. She's been doing that since 1988, and she's a certified acupressurist. Is a practitioner of Qigong Tai Chi, and she's a yoga instructor, and she also is a licensed massage therapist and works with patients all over the world in her clinic in Texas with different types of Chinese medicine modalities. So this is really going to be a great show. We're really excited to have her on. Thank you so much, Gayl, for being on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so excited. So it says here on your bio, I saw this, and I just thought, what the heck is this? It says here, a licensed avatar master.
I was going to ask her, too.
What is that? How cool.
It is cool.
Well, Avatar is a global organization for raising consciousness on the planet. And it's a term that means teacher, but the Avatar community it's a way to access some really amazing tools to help you learn how your mind works and to get more control of your thoughts, and then to build community globally.
Wow. And what kind of tools do they teach you? Is it like a program that you attend in person, or is it an online thing? Or
no, you attend in person. It's set usually 9 days long. So it's an immersion experience, and it's in various hotels that, all over the world. I think they're in I shouldn't say, but something like 20 or 50 countries. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
They're all over the place. And so you go and you work with yourself, and then you work with partners or in groups, a lot of different kinds of activity. First, to gain more control of your will, to learn what that is and how to access your will in creating thoughts that are positive and move you in a forward direction in your life.
Wow, sounds a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah, sign me up. That sounds really neat.
Yeah, it's been a strong influence in my life, and I didn't expect this, but it actually has really helped my practice in Chinese medicine too, because it's helped me to gain more access to the subtle energies that happen between people. And I even find when I take pulses and read somebody's energetic system, I'm more sensitive to what's going on in their bodies and their minds.
Now, how does it affect your will, or how does it impact your ability to have a strong will?
Well, for example, I had a patient recently, probably a girl in her 20s who suffers from depression, and she tends to get very introverted. And I suggested that she do the simple exercise, which is controlling the will to look at an object, just with your vision, go around the circumference of the object, label it 1. And then you go to another object and you do the same thing. And it's really a way to learn how to control your attention, because where our attention goes, then energy flows. Mm-hmm. And so controlling your attention is your will.
And the will seems like a really great thing to have dialed in, because it really allows us to sort of focus and concentrate a lot of general ideas that come into our perception, right? And being able to focus and concentrate on one thing, I think, is kind of like a magnifying glass. You know how you put a magnifying glass and it concentrates the energy of the sun? Seems like a really great thing for people to be able to get a handle of.
Yeah, I agree. It's great for concentrating, like if you're writing a book or doing something that takes a lot of focused attention. And I think that also, Justin, it's interesting to think of using your will with your thoughts, because most of us have random thoughts that come in that may tend to spiral.
Right.
And, you know, maybe we're not like totally in control of that. Like I have people tell me all the time they have trouble sleeping because their mind is so active and they don't know how to turn it off.
Wow.
Well, getting control of your will, then you can just shift your attention, you know, onto your breath or into relaxation mode, and then your mind calms down.
Is that a really lengthy process for most people to kind of master or get a hold of?
You know, that's a great question. I think that sometimes it takes a while, but honestly, it's pretty simple. It's really just learning to control attention. So if your attention is way out of control, then you got to reel it back in, and it takes a little time. Yeah. But once you get that concept and you practice like just moving your vision from one thing to the next, you know, in the control of yourself, then it's kind of like a muscle you're building. Then it doesn't take time.
Do you find that the advent of these smartphones and technology and computers and iPads and things are affecting people's ability to be able to direct their thoughts and think about sustained topics for a period of time, or to focus their will? Or because it seems like with these things, they're so scatterbrained. You know, you're always checking the email and all these types of things.
Competing for your attention all day, every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you two have children, but if you see the kids today, I think it's become epidemic. They're so distracting, from the present moment that, I think the kids, especially that are growing up with the smartphones, are going to have trouble later on. Yeah, I see it. It's kind of, I don't want to go into it because I feel a lot of energy around this topic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I definitely think it is an issue in our culture and a growing one.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people they have a lot of chatter in their mind and
The
like
monkey brain.
the monkey brain. Yeah, like you said, they can't really go to sleep at night because their mind's just sort of going. Do you think that's a result of not taking sort of an active approach to being able to control how their mind is? Throughout all of our life, we're always just exposed to things and we just kind of react, and it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, probably so. I think it's probably has different factors involved. It may be simple as not exercising enough, and you have a lot of energy, and so then it goes into the mental level. Or maybe a person gets so intense about their work they can't detach. Or a mother about their child, they worry a lot. There's a lot of different ways it manifests.
So you've been doing work for about 28 years now with people that come into your clinic. Do they just come in from local areas and then all over around the world?
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. And I saw in there Jin Shin Do body mind acupressure. What is that?
Yeah, that started actually in California with a woman named Iona Teagarden, and she studied with a woman, Mary Burmeister, who brought a technique from Japan back where you're holding energy points in the body for a sustained amount of time, and then whatever is in the tissue can motivate or mobilize through the energy system or our meridian system. Well, Iona was a counselor, marriage and family counselor, and realized that in the States or the West, that people tended to be more, their illnesses tended to be more stress related. And again, much of that is how we think. And so she started applying some psychology to this very old acupressure technique, and that's why it's called body-mind acupressure, and then created a system of different flows, we call them, or release patterns, using point combinations and holding. And so it's a type of acupressure. There are many styles of acupressure, and this is one style. I like it. I learned it when I was young in my career and really found it valuable for me personally, as well as all the people that I would see professionally, and then have just continued to integrate it into my acupuncture practice, which right now my practice is primarily acupuncture and Chinese herbs, energy medicine, using some acupressure, some cranial sacral therapy, and some massage therapy, as well as teaching Qigong and Tai Chi with yoga.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. We went to Dr. Stuart Nunley a while back, a biological dentist there. Where was it? Marble Falls?
Marble
Falls, Texas. And so after the procedure, we had our root canals worked on, and previously I'd had some mercury fillings taken out with him in 2010. And after they're done with you, they do a whole, how long is it? About an hour?
I think it's about an hour, yeah.
Of acupressure. And so what do they do? What's happening when I did that? Was that sort of a cleansing or detox kind of thing, or what was that?
I suppose. So you came all the way to Marble Falls to see a dentist?
We flew all the way. I know, right? Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy.
Huh, I didn't know about it. Marble Falls is about 30 miles or so from where I'm at.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's been on our show a couple times. Dr. Stuart Nunley is just really a great biological dentist. So
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know what kind of acupressure they do, but just stimulating the energy points and the meridian system is detoxifying and balancing and helps to regulate the internal body systems. So I guess they've found that it's really useful. Is there a connection between acupuncture? Because you said you use it with acupressure. Because I found acupuncture it's based on the traditional Chinese medical model, that the philosophies, extend probably 3,000 years back. And through the ages, the Chinese particularly routed the energy channels, and that's what we call meridians. So if you can imagine, there are oceans, and then there are rivers, and there are tributaries on the planet. So if our body was like a planet, we have certain energy centers that are like the oceans, and then we have main energy meridians that are like the rivers, and then we have all these divergent channels. And within these systems, energy flows. So it may also be blood and neurological conduction through your nervous system, but the energy channels are independent of those systems. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so when you are actually tapping into an area of the body, what is that doing with the needle?
So with acupuncture, I'm stimulating a point where there's more electrical conductivity in the tissue, and the needle acts as I call it a little antenna or a stimulus to trigger a response in that area through the nervous system and the vascular system and lymphatic system, and it triggers your body to heal itself, basically.
So the energies are drawn toward that area.
If there's inflammation there, it will calm down. If there's swelling, the swelling starts to go away. It accelerates the body's intelligence to heal itself.
Wow.
Fascinating. Oh, interesting.
So is it safe to say that over time, acupressure and acupuncture both, I know people that have had chronic things that go in for acupuncture and they feel better immediately when they leave, like if it's a back injury or things like that. But is it safe to say that they build up and it's more of like a open meridian system over time? You're going to get more energy flowing more effectively?
Sure, because the treatments are cumulative. And so then the more treatments you have, the more your body is attuned to your energy system, and it can regulate itself more efficiently. Or if you go in for a treatment, usually the treatments are very effective quickly.
Wow.
Interesting that they're cumulative. So your body sort of responds to the acupuncture needles, and then it starts to work on a sort of like a memory basis where it remembers what happened last time. And
I think so, yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah,
that is
it's
wild.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah. What are some of the weirdest or the most difficult cases you've had and had seen success with acupuncture?
What are some?
Yeah. What types of things do you use with acupuncture?
That's a broad question because I've been in practice almost 30 years already.
Yeah. I would imagine.
I treat everything from the common cold to cancer. I think, some of the like extreme experiences that the patients have are, like, for example, last week I had a woman who's in her 80s now, and I've known her for at least 15 years. She comes in for all kinds of issues that she has. Wow. And this one, she had fallen when she was on a trip, and she came home, and she was in so much agony from this fall. And, of course, she went to the doctor because she was 84 or something, and they took x-rays and they did this and that, and they found that her spine is extremely deteriorated and she has some disc damage, and she's already had a hip replacement and a knee replacement, and she has chronic asthma. But she called me and came in, and in one treatment I was able to take the pain away pretty much like 90%.
Oh my goodness.
And she was so mystified by it, although she trusts me because I've known her a long time, that she came back the next day, and when she first came in, she was using her cane, and her husband had to drive her, and she was just moaning.
Oh.
And she left walking without the cane and telling everybody it's a miracle.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's got to feel so good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was sweet, and it's the reason I do what I do, because I understand this system. It makes sense to me, and I just seem to be pretty good at it. So
wow.
I get good results and help people, and I help build a community of health that way.
I love it. I love it. We're going to take a break in just a sec, but one more question before the break. I'm curious, are the places on the body that you put the needles, are they sort of a standard place, or does it vary with person to person?
No, they're very specific, and there's about 365 commonly used points, and then there are a couple hundred that are less commonly used, but they're very specific locations.
Oh, okay.
And so then the art of Chinese medicine is to create a strategy for the points that you're using. And you might use between 1 needle and 25 in a treatment.
Oh, my goodness.
Just depending on what's going on and what you have to treat.
Wow, interesting. Well, Kate, you had an experience. We'll talk about this after the break, but you had a little experience when you had some needles in your head or something. So we'll talk about that. Great. This is good stuff. This is Gayl Hubatch, and if you want to check out her website, I don't think we mentioned that earlier. Her website is Blue Heron Center. BlueHeronCenter.com. And she's also the author of a book called Fabric of the Soul, 8 Extraordinary Vessels, which sounds very fascinating. So this is episode 340 with Gayl Hubatch, and we'll be right back right after this break. I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and apply the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that the same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q Laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser. Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. And if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
What a cool thing, right, Kate? All this Chinese herbs and Qigong and meditation. A lot of cool stuff here, isn't there?
I'm becoming very interested in this whole world because I don't know a whole lot. And I just feel like this conversation's really good to kind of spur me on, get me excited about that.
Super cool, huh?
Yes.
If you guys are interested at all in any of those products, the laser or the barf world, you can always email me and ask me any questions if you have questions about those particular products. Maggie loves the barf. You can't email Maggie, though. She won't respond. Our little 10-pound wiener dog.
If she did, I'd be worried.
She won't be responding to your emails. But she loves the barf world food and that diet, so it's really great for her. And we appreciate all you guys being on the live show. We appreciate that so much. If you want to do that, it is every Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. But actually, this Friday, we have a show. This week's a little bit different. We have a show, I think, at 10 o'clock on Thursday with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's the author of You Are the Placebo Effect, I think. And then we also have our Friday show, which is going to be with Dr. John Bergman, our chiropractor. So that'll be a great show with him. So make sure to check our shows out on those particular days. The schedule's on the right-hand side of our website. Today we have Dr. Gayl Hubatch from Texas, and her website, if you haven't checked it out yet, I would highly recommend that. Blue Heron Center, right, Kate?
Yes, you always want to say heron.
I want to say heron.
I don't think you've never known what a heron is.
I've never known what a heron is. It's so Dr. Hubatch, I wanted to ask you, before we go a little bit further, I'm curious as to your story and how you got started with all this.
Oh, well, let's see. So I started in college in psychology, and at that time I'm from Chicago, so I went to a pretty business-oriented school, and it wasn't what I was looking for. So I moved to the West Coast and was introduced to Chinese medicine at a conference that I was attending. There was an acupuncturist there. This was in 1983, I think. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about Taoism and Chinese medicine, and I had never heard of any of it before. But it made sense to me, especially the Taoist philosophy, when I learned about yin and yang and the wholeness, how everything is connected in life. It answered my questions about the mind and the body, how our minds influence our bodies and so forth. And so I started studying with him, and we did evening classes. He was teaching acupressure at the time. And when I started feeling the points on people and on myself, I could immediately feel the chi that he was talking about, our life force energy. And once I got a sense of what chi is, it really turned me on and opened me up to all kinds of other new age modalities and techniques. And so I just kind of started my road of learning at that point. I studied there in Oregon for a couple of years, and then moved to New Mexico and went to school in Chinese medicine at a college there. Went to China, studied with some Qigong masters that were beyond belief.
Wow.
And then came back and continued to practice until we moved to Texas, to Austin in 1994, and ended up here at Lake Travis and have been practicing out here ever since.
Oh my goodness.
Continuing my studies. I went back to China last year for more Qigong. Qigong has kind of been a central point for me. I really like that practice.
So Qigong, that's been around for thousands of years, hasn't it? First of all, I think, right?
Yeah, it all started back in the feudal system, when people were walking across the country, and nobody really knows how it started. It seems like the monks who were meditating and had influence from India needed to move their bodies, and they were in such deep states of meditation and connected to the field of life force energy. They started using that in ways to develop themselves. And then it turned into Tai Chi as a martial art. And then the other martial arts kind of followed from there. That's how I see it.
It's such an interesting practice because we do it. And
you practice Qigong?
Yeah, I find it to be very, like you were talking about before, the yin and the yang, you know, I do a lot of weightlifting and, heavy workouts with, lots of weight and all this stuff. But I find Qigong to be very relaxing and like a moving meditation. And it's such a great counterbalance to all the, I don't know if it's a male energy or something, but that gym is just, it's like a, testosterone driven place, So
what form of Qigong do you practice?
I don't even know. It's a form of Qigong that we practice with a guy by the name of Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, and I don't even know too much about it. I've only been doing it for probably about 6 months. And
yeah, because there are lots of different styles.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Hundreds or thousands even.
Oh, really?
And of course, California has some great teachers. And there's just all different styles. I'm drawn to the Taoist style, which is more soft style. But there are also hard styles that move closer to the martial side of it.
Oh, okay. So that's more of like a martial art, or can be.
Yeah, it can be used that way. I like to work out at the gym too. I have a great gym here I go to. I love, and I paddleboard and over there too. And then the Qigong and Tai Chi and yoga too. For me, it's the same thing. It's like it's relaxing, but yet energizing. And I feel really complete, when I practice. Now, it's different than other types of workout.
Now, Qigong is not something that's very much talked about here in the West, even though it's gaining momentum. But it is something that it's different than any other type of exercise, isn't it? Because it helps to develop life force. And like you said with acupuncture, from what I understand, it's cumulative, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So you're cultivating your qi when you practice. Every time you practice, your body kind of turns on to that energetic flow. And so then the more you practice, the easier it is to get into that state. We call it the qi state. And it's, it's just pretty cool stuff.
I assume most people
you can apply it in different ways.
Yeah. I assume most people are like myself, to where I've been in a salon job doing hair for 15 years and literally have always felt in the past 10 years of that 15 just totally depleted. And I had never known what qi was, or the fact that it could be depleted. So obviously things like this, in order to build up the qi, is really, really crucial to probably living a healthy life, isn't it?
I think so, definitely. Yeah. And I think that we'll see Qigong becoming more and more popular and practiced in the West the more people find out about it. In the West, we tend to be really goal-oriented and physical. And because Qigong is more of the soft style, it involves a lot of internal breathing. You have to control your mind to focus on your breath. And people aren't that it takes time to get to that place, but it has a powerful effect. And the more, like I said, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So it's just one of those things. It'll take off like yoga. Is my prediction. In another 5 or 10 years, there'll be Qigong everywhere, just like yoga is now.
Yeah, yoga sure took off. What do you think? What happened there?
I know. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was probably one of those 100th monkey things. You know that story? Where you get enough people into it, and then suddenly it just expands or multiplies, explodes. And that seems to be what happened with yoga. I think there were enough strong teachers that were vocal and really moving it forward. And then just people felt a need for this kind of practice, and suddenly it became profitable. All these studios and teacher trainings grew up, and And it's a feel good, thing. You go to and do a yoga class and you feel amazing afterwards. So why not practice it?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because every time Kate and I take a yoga class, we have the same response. It feels like you just had a workout, but then you also feel like you just went through a massage, which are two almost completely diametrically opposed things, but it's just an amazing, I feel like a really great endorphin rush doing a good yoga practice.
Yeah. And Qigong could be that way too, depending on, what kind that you practice. It can be very invigorating or it can be super relaxing. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things about Qigong is there are so many different styles that we haven't quite figured out how to market it yet.
Oh, really?
To make it popular. Because people practice in so many different ways. But one of my teachers, Roger Yanka, who lives in Santa Barbara, he started the Integral Institute for Tai Chi and Qigong. He's been hugely successful opening awareness for Qigong and Tai Chi, and they've done a lot of research, and so there are a lot of people that are coming through his school.
I love that. Wow, interesting. Not too far
going on. Mm-hmm. We had a question in the chat room, and they asked, when you practice Qigong, do you ever feel the soles of your feet becoming warm or hot and tingling? Does this mean something in particular?
Yeah, that's a good question, because the soles of your feet, there's a point on the bottom of your foot between the pads. It's called bubbling well. It's the beginning of the kidney meridian, and that point is always open. So there are 5 points in the body that are always open to the environment. Kidney 1 on the bottom of your feet is one of those points. Wow. The top of your head and your crown chakra, and then the points on your hands. And so when somebody is standing doing Qigong practice and they start feeling warm or tingling in that place on the foot, that means that the Qi is waking up. So it's a good thing.
Oh, wow.
And you can use that awareness of the sensation to actively then connect to the earth. So that's when I say a point is open or awake, that means you can move energy out of your body through that point into the ground, or you can bring the earth energy up into your body through that point.
It's so interesting. Are you a proponent of the, doing Qigong with bare feet on the earth? Do you think that would be a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I would imagine it would be a great thing, because sometimes when I do it and the instructor on the video says to go ground to the earth, we're on a second story, and so we're not connected to the earth, and so I find that to be a little disconnecting. But if I were to do it, outside in the moonlight, or something really cool like that, I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, when I first went to China in 92, and at that time there were hundreds of people practicing in the park every morning. As soon as the dawn came, the light of the dawn came in, you'd see people practicing every square patch of grass. There was somebody practicing.
Oh my goodness.
Last time I went, I didn't see that as much, which is unfortunate. But I think for many, many years, that's how it was done. You just go outside and you connect to the ground and you start to breathe and move your body. I mean, it's really as simple as that. And then there are, specific ways that you can move your arms, your legs, and coordinated with your breath. And that creates not only a relaxation response internally, but it starts to awaken the meridian system. So it's similar in yoga, or maybe the same. It's coordinating your breath with the movement that aligns your chakra system and awakens the prana, which is just the same thing but different language because it came from India.
Oh,
very interesting.
I have to say, I've never done this in a public park, but I've walked by places in Central Park to the local parks around here where you see people involved in like a Tai Chi or a Qigong or something, and just watching it, it's such a beautiful dance, and you feel a calm come over you just observing it.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
It is. It is. And I think there's actually been some research about that. In fact, I think my teacher, Roger, has done something around that where you don't even have to practice. You just watch the practice, like you were saying.
Oh, is that true?
And so your system starts to change.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting phenomena.
Wow. How cool is that?
That's cool to know, because I wondered, is that just an energetic, sensitive person that can experience that, or is that true for all? There's just something about the watching, the slow down, I don't know. Yeah, something that's really neat that you kind of confirm that that's true. But
yeah, that is true.
That's neat.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break right now. We're with Dr. Gayl Hubatch, and her website is Blue Heron Center, right, Kate? Blue Heron. I want to say Huron. I don't know why. I've got to fix that. Blue Heron Center, and she's the author of the book called Fabric of the Soul, 8 Extraordinary Vessels. I want to ask her about that when we come back from the break, too. So if you want to check out her website, you can do that. And this is episode 340, and we'll be right back right after this break.
Would you like to feel more energy and a better sense of well-being? What's flowing through your blood makes all the difference. In my 22 years of nutritional practice, I've found that the food and supplements taken into the body determines to a large degree the amount of energy and happiness people have. One giant step in the direction of more energy and happiness is the type and quantity of protein you consume. 2 years ago, I was introduced to a whey protein powder that gave me more energy and a better sense of well-being. Having struggled with low energy, this was a welcome experience. This protein is called One World Whey. It is the first ever undamaged whey protein powder from grass-fed cows. People report the following: profound improvements in blood sugar and energy, elimination of pain, better bowel movements, detoxification, younger-looking skin and fat loss. Athletes love the strength and endurance-producing effects. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
And in my opinion, this is the best raw grass-fed protein powder on the market. It's developed on Amish farms. It's got 25 grams of protein in each single scoop. Crazy amount of protein. Increases your glutathione levels. It helps to release heavy metals and toxins, decreases inflammation all throughout the body, especially in the gut. And not only that, but it helps you build muscle and increase energy as well. It has tons of anti-aging properties. So really, really great protein powder. We like to use it every day in our smoothies. And our resident cancer guru, Ty Bollinger, what do you think about One World Whey?
Over the commercial there, you're talking about One World Whey. I want to encourage anybody that's listening, go to their website, go to Justin and Kate's website, and buy the One World Whey. That's something that we include every day in our diet. Every lunch, we have a One World Whey smoothie with super greens mixed in with it. It is fantastic. It's the best protein you're going to get. And as they mentioned, it's from grass-fed cows. It's organic. It's cold pressed. I mean, it is, you're going to get huge nutritive values from this One World Whey. It's the best protein on the market, I think. So then that's something that most people are deficient in, is quality protein. So I highly recommend you go there and go to their website and buy this stuff. It's the best that's on the market. And I'm good friends with Stephen Hewer, who is the owner of Synergistic Nutrition, and he's a quality guy, and they have excellent customer service as well.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. We interviewed him on episode 88, and he's just an amazing guy, and I really love what he's doing. That's why I love supporting his work and love taking his products as well.
Yeah, great stuff.
And if you'd like to support Extreme Health Radio and the work that Kate and I do, you can get your hands on this One World Whey protein powder that I love so much at extremehealthradio.com/whey. That's WHEY. Or you could check it out in our store as well. That's extremehealthradio.com/whey. So I'd been following a guy named Lucas Rockwood for years and years, and he's a yoga instructor and a raw foodist, and we were finally able to get him on our show on episode number 10. So if you want to listen to his interview, it's really good. But he's a really good guy. We're honored and proud to be supporting him and his products at Yoga Body Naturals. And he's got this really cool product called the Yoga Trapeze. And you can check it out at extremehealthradio.com/trapeze. And that's TRAPEZE. It's really cool, like a yoga swing that you can install in your house or in your garage or anywhere. It's really, really cool. It helps to invert the body, and you could do back bends, and it's really, really an amazing thing for elongating your spine and relieving back pain. But the power of inversion is really, really critical. It's really sold and marketed as something that will help your back, but the power of inversion is really, really great. And people like David Wolfe and lots of other people talk about how powerful it is to invert the body for some portion of the day for as often as you can. And it's really cool. It comes with a bunch of videos that teach you how to install it. And it's got a bunch of practice videos too that comes as a bonus. He gives you a 2-month supply of this Liquid Energy B, which is like $25 normally. And he's got 108 Super Juices ebook that's normally $30, and also a Yoga Trapeze chart that's normally $20 that he throws in as for free. And you can get them in purple, two-tone purple, or two-tone orange. And the cool thing is that you can try it for just $1 for 30 days. And it's really, really a cool thing. If you go to extremehealthradio.com/trapeze, you can learn more about it and watch the videos of him using it and demonstrating why it's so good and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, elongating the spine and using inversion to help heal your back and to have better posture and all of that, it's really something that you should look into. But before you look into it, listen to our interview with him in episode number 10 and just learn more about him and what his work is all about. And then go to extremehealthradio.com/trapeze if you're interested in getting this thing. And if you get it, let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about it and how it's benefited you and all that. So thank you for listening. And you can also check it out in our store too. So don't forget to check it out there. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the interview.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
And if you guys would like to stay up to date with all of our shows, I would highly recommend signing up to our newsletter list, and we won't bombard you with emails every single day, so you can rest assured that won't happen. But if you stay up to date with us via our email list, you can keep up to date with all the shows and different things that are going on. We do shows twice a week and all kinds of stuff happening here. So if you want to do that, that would be the best way to stay up to date. Facebook is a good thing too. If you want to follow us on there, we post all of our shows and archive shows, all kinds of great stuff on Facebook. So don't forget to join the community on there. And then also we have, at the end of this show, we're going to do a little meditation related to Qigong, which will be really cool, right, Kate?
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm looking forward to this.
I know. So cool, huh?
Great.
So today we're with Dr. Gayl Hubatch, and her website is Blue Heron Center.
You have the hardest time with that.
I can't say that right.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to say Heron.
BlueHeronCenter.com.
BlueHeronCenter.com. Dr. Hubatch, I wanted to ask you, how did you come up with a name like that I have such a hard time pronouncing?
Well, have you ever seen a blue heron?
I don't think I have. That's probably why.
I think I have.
You know, it was one of those things I decided I was going to incorporate, and I was taking a walk in this wooded path, and a blue heron flew over my head.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, oh, that makes sense. Blue Heron. I'll call it Blue Heron Center because I live and practice out here at Lake Travis. There are a lot of blue herons at the lake. And, you know, the birds are a very classic Eastern philosophy symbol.
Oh, okay.
The cranes, usually you see the cranes in their Chinese paintings and things, and the bird symbolizes heaven, which heaven relates to the cosmos and higher mind. And so kind of all of that went into the blue heron idea. And then my symbol is the blue heron standing on a turtle, which is an old Taoist symbol that means the balance of heaven and earth.
Oh, wow. I love that.
So there's a lot of symbology to it.
Oh, wow.
But, and also just locally, because I like blue herons. They're beautiful birds.
They are beautiful.
They are. And Kate, you had an experience that I wanted to get back to because we kind of talked about it earlier with the acupuncture. And it was really interesting where the needles were on your head, but they went to a different area of the body.
Well, I had acupuncture for, I'd say, 12 times in my life. I have experienced it and felt, energy moving, and it was really powerful. But the very last session I had, he had put a needle in pretty much what I remember being the top of my head. And within a few minutes, my heart was racing. I was super uncomfortable. I felt sweaty. I almost felt like I was going to go into some kind of heart issue, not attack necessarily, but just something really strange. And so I said, I'm just not doing good with this. I'm overwhelmed. My breathing got really rapid, and he came and took it out of my head. And the minute that he did, my body just completely went back to ease. And I found it to be the strangest experience. What do you think was going on with that?
Oh, I can explain that to you.
Please.
So he used a point called Du 20 or governing vessel 20, Bahhui, and what it does is it raises energy up in the body.
Okay.
And it's used in different ways. It can also incite a headache in somebody that has like a tendency toward headaches, or in your case, it can overload the nervous system. So I use that point very cautiously, and through active pulse reading to see if it's appropriate or not. Okay. And he may have taken your pulses and, found that it was helpful, because sometimes when you put that point in, it'll calm somebody down. But because it's so strong, it can have the adverse effect, which is what happened with you.
Interesting. I believe that to be true, because he was really cautious about, taking the pulse and checking. And he even let me kind of work through it for a few minutes and said, hang in there. And then when it didn't get any better, he was really swift to remove it. But yeah, I mean, this is probably over a year ago.
Because sometimes it's really hard to know in advance how somebody is going to respond. But that particular point, that's one of those really powerful ones.
Wow.
Interesting. Well,
thank you. So when a person comes in to see you, what kinds of diagnoses do you do? How do you determine what issues they're having, and then what might be the best mode of action for someone? Is it different with each person?
Sure. Yeah, it's different. Although there's a certain language, just the terminology in the Chinese medical model is based on the environment. And so the diagnosis sounds like it might be wind invasion or heat rising or damp, cold stagnation. So we use climatic terms to illustrate what's going on internally in the body. So we have phlegm that would be called dampness, or you might have inflammation, and that's a type of heat. Or maybe you have a hormonal imbalance, and then that can also be heat or qi stagnation. And so we use terms like that, and it's based on the symptoms that the person comes in with, the pulse reading. We also look at the tongue. The tongue reflects the digestive system, and so you can learn a lot about how a person's internal organs are functioning looking at their tongue.
Really?
And then sometimes you can palpate certain points that will also give you more indication of what's going on inside.
That's interesting. With the tongue, is it like shape of the tongue or certain sort of
shape, color, coating, texture, area.
And are there different areas of the tongue that represent different? Because I think does the front of the tongue represent
the heart, like the heart and chest, and then the back or root of the tongue represents your lower abdomen, and then the middle is the middle abdomen.
I see. And so you can tell by looking at the tongue and looking at all those different factors if they correspond to what some of the symptoms someone's talking about is.
Right. So say you see redness at the tip of the tongue, and then there's heat in the heart area or the chest area. Or you might see a depression in the middle of the tongue, and sometimes that can be a little purple, and that means there's stagnation there and weakness in their digestive tract.
Interesting.
Dr. Gayl, do you think there's any validity to, I'm sure you would probably say yes, a reading of people's nails to see health?
Yeah, the nails represent the liver meridian. And so there are different qualities, like you might see ridges or the color, and that reflects the blood system that the liver influences.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, I know that there's a lot of different things going on with people's nails. For the longest time, I had a little thing going on with my nails. It was really interesting. It was like it looked like the little splinter was in my nail, and it would transfer. It was on my right hand, on my index finger, right in the middle of the nail, and then if it would go away, it would transfer to the other hand on my index finger on my left hand.
So weird.
It kind of went back and forth, and now it's been gone for about probably about 3 or 4 months, and I can't really attribute it to anything, but I'm sure something changed.
Yeah, maybe it was a mineral deficiency or something like that.
Interesting stuff.
You cleared up, yeah.
So when you work with people, you usually, I'm sure, recommend different types of herbs to them, and I know that's a big part of your practice. How do you do that with people?
Yeah, so our climate in Austin here is kind of warm and humid sometimes, and there are a lot of allergens in that people react to. So allergies are a big symptom. And so I give herbs for that, to keep your nose opened up and to dissolve the phlegm, stop a headache. There are herbs for blood pressure, for menopausal symptoms like hot flashes or menstrual cramps, back pain, you name it. The herbology aspect of Chinese medicine is the largest part of the medicine. Actually, acupuncture is, in a sense, more adjunctive.
Interesting.
Even though it's practiced more primary. But there are 4 aspects of Chinese medicine. It's the herbs, acupuncture, Qigong, and then a type of massage or acupressure they call Tui Na.
Interesting. Tui Na. What is that? How does that differ?
So that's a type of pressure using the points and the energy lines. And you use like the side of your hand a lot. And you might stretch or use acupressure. It's just different massage-oriented techniques or manual techniques, I should say, that came out of China.
Gosh, they are just so fascinating. Such a fascinating culture to be able to come up with all this stuff, thousands of years ago, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, or maybe even longer. But it's just fascinating how they're able to do all that with a seemingly limited understanding of the body at that time, but they somehow knew what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that took many, many years to perfect. But there were different ages where, like, the medical part of their culture really shone, and that was right around the turn of the 1st century. And then the Neijing, one of our classic texts, is a compilation of many different classical Chinese doctors from 200 BC to 500 AD, and they all were bringing forward a lot of information and knowledge and wisdom, and then put it into a context that could be taught. So, it just took a lot of time. It's just an old culture. Our culture is young.
I know, right?
Compared to it. And the Indian culture is even older. And their medical system is also quite refined. Yeah. Although, I'm biased, but I think the Chinese system is more specific for a lot of conditions.
And have you dabbled much with the Ayurvedic system of thought and all that?
Yeah, I have. I've studied Ayurvedic some, and of course, through my yoga practice, and sometimes use the herbs, but I'm more proficient with the Chinese system.
So interesting.
We had a chat room question here for you, and then maybe we'll touch a little bit on your book and then round out with a meditation.
Yes.
That's okay. But one quick question. Our friend in the chat asked, what would be a treatment for autoimmune disorders, and would it be different for each disorder?
Yes, it would actually be different for each individual because autoimmune disorders covers a broad range of things, from fibromyalgia to lupus, or different arthritic conditions are autoimmune. Okay. But basically, it all stems back to inflammation and qi stagnation. And so practicing Qigong, honestly, for autoimmune disorders is one of the best things you could absolutely do for your body, because you coordinating your breath with your intention and then subtle movement will help your body to relax and stop the inflammation. And then there are herbs depending on the symptoms, and then treatments. Again, it depends on the individual.
Absolutely. That's great.
In terms of autoimmune, are you finding a lot of people coming in with digestive issues? Is there a digestive component that you would work with someone
sure.
on that as well?
Absolutely, yeah, because they say in Chinese medicine, the postnatal qi, which is your digestive function, is the place you begin to heal anything. And so an autoimmune disorder has a lot of different organ systems that are out of balance or not functioning efficiently. And so you've got to correct the digestion first. And that's where, they say 80% of our immune system is in our gut. And so you correcting the intestinal flora, the enzyme production and lymphatic drainage and flow, all of those different aspects of the digestion will help the autoimmune response.
I would imagine, yeah.
Makes sense. It's all connected.
All disease begins in the gut. And so your book, Fabric of the Soul, 8 Extraordinary Vessels, I'm very curious about that. That title is very intriguing. What is that about?
So
sounds great.
I know. Right?
It's kind of complex, but I'm going to try to keep it simple. So I use the term fabric of the soul because I feel like our bodies hold our souls, and that the energy in our body is our soul. And so the fabric is the energy that we put in through our mind, like the thoughts we tell ourselves, and the extraordinary vessels are our basic energy template. So if you can imagine at conception, when those two cells come together and a baby starts to grow, all those cells, divide and multiply, then there's an energetic stimulus that's happening. The life force is pushing energy into life. And the extraordinary vessels are templates of this energy and how it flows into the body. So it's like going back to the basic intelligence of how our energy body is formed. And so when you're talking about autoimmune, for example, that means that the level of the extraordinary vessel has been damaged. It's the level of the template where all of our organ systems are connected. Remember earlier I talked about the sea and the river and the tributary?
Right.
We're talking now about the seas or the oceans. So the extraordinary vessels are like the oceans of the energy in the body. And then the meridians, the organ meridians, like liver meridian, lung meridian, kidney, and so forth, those are the river systems. And so I wrote a book about this because there wasn't much translated into English about this subject in my career. And I felt like it was really necessary for any practitioner of Chinese medicine and any astute client, who likes the system, to understand a little bit about this template of energy, so that when you go in and try to affect something at its root level, then you have a sense of it and how it relates to our central nervous system, which is kind of like our basic central flow, and then how all of that energy is distributed into the organs.
Wow. So understanding how the energy moves throughout the body and how it sets up life, and for the structure and for the bones and organs to all come together.
Yeah, how it's all is interconnected.
Isn't that wild? That's so amazing. Do you do like a daily meditation practice? Do you do that?
Yeah, it's important to me to stay balanced. So I do a lot of self-regulating techniques. meditation, Qigong Tai Chi, yoga, walking.
Yeah, you got to do those things in today's world, don't you? With how seemingly stressful it can be if you're not careful. But
yeah,
you got to do that.
It does. It helps a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I do the same thing, and I've noticed the more I do it, the more I need to do it, and the more I want to do it. But it's like I like the moving meditation, the going to the gym, and then the actual meditation itself, because you're sort of kind of sloughing off energy, built up tension that happens throughout the day when you're able to do these types of practices. It really helps to ground you.
Yeah. That's right. And center, it helps us to stay centered.
Well, speaking of
so we
centering,
can be productive, right, in life.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of centering, would you be willing to still guide us through a ending meditation?
Sure. Yeah. So we'll keep it short.
Be great.
And we'll start sitting. So find your seat, and it's helpful to have your feet flat on the floor, and then relax your lower back.
Okay. Doing that right now.
And if you are seated, come toward the front of your chair so that your back isn't leaning. So you're using some core muscles to keep you upright, and then just drop your sacral or your tailbone down a little bit. And then start to breathe, relax your diaphragm, and breathe into the belly. So the belly is called our lower dantian in the Eastern philosophy. And find your belly button. Your navel is, of course, where we were once connected to the mother. So that's the origin of our life in this body is our belly button. And once that cord was cut, the energetic link, it came in and dropped down a little bit. And so right below the belly button and inside, halfway between your front and your back, is this place called the lower dantian. It's an energy vortex. And so you want to focus your attention there and breathe into that just easily and mindfully for a moment. And then we're going to imagine that there is a pearl that lives in that place. There's a nest with a little white shiny pearl that is nestled in there. And you're going to breathe into that pearl and notice that the pearl responds to our breath. And as you're breathing now with your intention, let that pearl wiggle loose and start to descend and find the tip of your spine, your coccyx. And when that pearl connects with your spine, it lights it up. So it just very slowly, it starts to enlighten your spine and slowly moving upward, vertebrae by vertebrae. And when you get to your lower back, you're going to just pause there. And so just allow that breath to come in. If you don't know your spine, you can just imagine it's just like this white line of energy moving from your seat up to about your waist right now. And that waist level, this is called Ming Men, the gate of life. So there's a very important acupuncture point there, gate of life, that helps to root all of the mental energy. So you're breathing here and awakening that place in your lower back. And as it starts to open some more, you notice, the pearl is moving upward again and moves upward through your spinal column. And each vertebrae is getting like a cleansing, a white light coming in. And it's moving slowly with your breath in and out. Inhale and exhale. And that pearl is now up to about the place in your upper back behind your heart. And this is another place to pause and breathe and just feel your heart and what's behind your heart. Let your upper back relax. And then the pearl with its own intelligence, continues to raise slowly upward, up through your spinal column, into your neck, and it's relaxing all the muscles attached there and into your shoulders. And it moves up into your skull and into your brain, and it brings a white light, just a cleansing and clearing light. It opens that crown point on the top of your head, and this opens to a larger, more cosmic connection to life. And as you breathe now, the pearl starts to descend, and it comes down now the front of the body slowly through your forehead, which is your third eye. This is the seat of your intention. And it continues kind of clearing inside your face. And this whiteness is now like a link moving downward through the front of your neck, your throat chakra, your heart, the center line in your body, feeling your heart center connected to that place in your upper back that we paused a moment ago. And with a larger breath, sigh down, and let that pearl descend now through your solar plexus into your soft belly and find its resting place again below and inside your navel center. And you might notice that this orbit we created, it's called the microcosmic orbit. It's a circle of light that flows up the back and down the front in easy rhythm. And this flow actually helps to trigger all of our body systems to regulate and balance. And now if your eyes are closed, you can open them and know that that place, you might even put a hand there on your belly and just let it rest and relax for a moment. Well, that's a simple engagement of the microcosmic orbit.
I love that idea. It's like the little orb is going through your entire body and sort of healing and bringing intention and energy to the different systems, and you can just direct it with your intention.
That's right. Intention and breath. I have in my book, Fabric of the Soul, there's a chapter on Qigong, and within that chapter, there's the microcosmic orbit meditation is written out for you, so you can practice on your own if you like, and learn more about Qigong.
Wow, that sounds like a great thing to do every single day, because with all the stress.
It is, actually. It's a great thing, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you, Dr. Gayl.
Thank you so much for that. Do you see patients via Skype, or do people need to actually come physically and see you?
I do sometimes give appointments through Skype, sure. They can do that. They can call me. I have also just phone conferences, as well as, of course, in person. So I have a consulting aspect of my business that I work with people over the phone or through the internet.
That is so cool, because we do have listeners all over the world. So that would be.
And by the way, my book is on Amazon.com.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
think I mentioned that, but
I'll put
it's easy to find there.
Awesome. Fabric of the Soul, 8 Extraordinary Vessels. And would you recommend that book for the practitioners and lay people alike?
Yes. I wrote it so that even though it's technical, it's written in a language that lay people could understand.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for that meditation and for the work you do and for coming on the show. It's really awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Oh, so good.
For inviting me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hang on the line there. We're going to close out our live show. And we appreciate everyone who is in the chat room. And it's an honor to be here today. And it's always a lot more fun when we have a lot of people in the chat room, so we appreciate that so much. Our next show is going to be, this week is a little bit strange, but we have Dr. Joe Dispenza on Thursday. He'll be talking about the placebo effect, and I believe that's at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then on Friday, I think it's 11 or 11:30, is going to be our Free For All Friday show, but it's going to be with Dr. John Bergman, our chiropractor. So he'll be joining us in studio for that, and so that will be a fun show. We appreciate all you guys being on and joining us. We really appreciate that so much, and we hope you have a great day, and thanks for listening.
Wherever you are in the world. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay.
And we'll talk soon.
Okay. Take care.
Bye, you too.
Bye.
All right. So we just ended with Dr. Gayl Hubatch. We have a ton of material to get to. We can talk about that meditation and some of the other things that she talked about. We're going to break down this interview right after this. So stay tuned, and we will be right back. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
All free shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Well, that was a fun show, wasn't it? Sweet sassy molassie.
I'm like human jello over here.
I know, after that meditation.
Yeah, I feel really, and I think people in the chat room agreed. I just feel like kind of yawny, sleepy. I don't know about you, but I felt energy moving through my body. I am so energy sensitive.
Gosh, you are. I don't feel.
You didn't feel that?
I don't feel anything.
My body was swaying. I felt a little bit disoriented, a little dizzy in a really good way.
You know what we should probably do? Maybe I'll cut that out. Cut out that little bit there and make it a separate thing, like a meditation, so people can... I won't cut it out of the show, but I'll cut it out and make it a separate thing, so if people want to listen to it, and do a little guided meditation, I'll put some music behind it, some Enya, something.
You know what? Yes.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Yes. Something really... I like
that
that idea.
Helpful for people?
Yes. Will you do that?
Yeah.
I want to do that with, I mean, it was beautiful. If I felt that way without music, when I have some sort of melodic background to things, I really go into a state of
I could do
severe peace.
I could put that thing that we found recently, the Dean Hivenson.
Oh, it's so pretty.
That Tree Over River song.
That is the most amazing, peaceful, it reminds me of being in like a Zen garden.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Great.
See if I can work some little editing magic. But yeah, pretty interesting show, huh?
Yes.
Chinese. I wonder why she sounded like she's a little bit more in touch or connects with Chinese medicine versus
over the Indian
Ayurvedic. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's truth to it all, and I think it just like anything else that we talk about on the show, I think it's anything your body resonates with that is going to be the most good fit for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you think?
I do. And I think the reason why she said she connects a little bit more with that is because it seems to be more specific. You can, get to the root cause of real specific ailments. And so I'm sure it lends itself well to her practice. Yeah, really.
And I think there's a time and a place for all of the above. I think there's a melding of them that could probably be really powerful for people too. It's like sort of like a global merging of modalities.
Yeah.
Pick something from here and something from there. And I mean, the times that I experienced moxibustion along with acupressure, acupuncture, and then along with now eating more Ayurvedically, I mean, I think that there are so many things that could really help each other out, even though from complete different parts of the world.
Hey, what do you think about what she said about, just thanking Isby in the chat room. What do you think about what she said about how she didn't really want to get into the technology side? Remember at the very beginning? Yeah,
I thought her response was really honest, and I didn't know at first like what she meant by that, but I think I know what she meant. She said it was too energetically draining. It had so much energy involved around that topic that for her it actually painted a really pretty picture in my brain when she said that. I thought, wow, how often we're willing to go to those places that if you just have thought about and come to your own conclusions, sometimes it's not worth going back there because you do get too fired up about certain topics and it's not doing you any good in the long run.
To talk about negative or things that are going to be like a low spin, I think so. Topic, kind of bring you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we were just talking about that on our walk recently, weren't we? About how certain people will be, they'll say, "Well, I'm not really a gossiper, but," or they'll say, "Oh, I'm not really this, but." I'm not here to talk about anybody, but I got to get one thing off my chest before. And I reminded us that you and what we took away from that was people are really good reminders for us to look at them and to learn lessons and to not be that way. But then we were harshly reminded last night on a walk when we were walking Maggie that although we don't seem to do that in some areas, we still do it a lot in the area of like complaining. Right. We're always like, we're going to be positive today. Okay, starting now. But before we do, I have to get one thing off my chest. And then we go into like, okay, I just need to rant for a minute and then I'll be, but that's not the lesson. The lesson is to keep it quiet. Yeah. Observe it for what it is, let it go, and don't keep going into that place that we keep going to thinking we're justified in doing it because it just riles us up and makes us more miserable, I think. Yeah, it seems like that's the truth. And also, I do see on the flip side of that, a value in just getting stuff off of you. The other day we had a kind of a meltdown sort of day and, everything seemed to be going against us, and it was just one of those days where kind of want to throw your hands up and forget it all. Yeah, I wanted to just completely. Oh my gosh, this is just. And so we just broke, and we just allowed ourselves to be angry and upset and complain, and it actually felt therapeutic. But I think the difference is to not having those days every day, and having those days very sparingly, only when it's really bad. And doing what you can to get rid of that negative energy, whether it's through Qigong or working out, going for a good sweat or run and just getting rid of that energy or doing something like that. So that every now and then, once every 2 or 3 months, you have a breakdown day. Which I don't know. It seems like that would be, for me, that I felt like I just had to do that day. Yeah. I agree. And there was no judgment that day for us. We just kind of allowed ourselves to do it. Yeah. Because I think judging just causes, had we been really harsh on ourselves and really judgmental toward ourselves, I just think that would have put us into another tailspin. So it's kind of like, you know what? Sometimes stuff bottles up and that's not healthy either. So it is what it is. And we got it out and we moved on. We're not dwelling in it. That's the difference. You know what I should have asked her on the side of the herbs? I was going to ask her, this was in my head and I forgot, about Chinese medicine herbs, like medicinal herbs like reishi or mushrooms, chaga, and some of the more powerful ones. I'm sure she has a lot of extensive experience in how she takes the herbs and things.
I think we should see her next time we're in Texas.
We should. Lake Travis is a beautiful spot.
I've always wanted to go out to Lake Travis.
Yeah, you have some friends that have a vacation. Is that what they have?
Yeah, vacation home right on the lake, and maybe we need to go spend some time out there.
Lake Travis. See the Blue Herons.
Oh, Heron.
Heron. You know why? I figured it out. Why?
Yeah, what do you think?
Because there was a kid in our high school that I seen. You know how those kids you go to school with, and for some reason you never really knew them, but they were in every class you had, like all 4 years.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I had.
And so this kid was Jason Heron. Heron, they called him, and it was Heron. And so every time during roll call, they would pronounce it like that, and it just probably got stuck into my subconscious mind.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Jason Heron. But it's Heron.
Blue Heron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. I think only probably a couple times in my life, but one of them was when my sister and I went back a couple of Julys ago. Actually, it's been a long time now, like 7 years, 8 years, but back to the East Coast, back to Maine for a wedding. And we were on this really neat it was this really neat bed and breakfast along a river of sorts. Not a river. Was it a creek? A river? I don't know, but there was these amazing birds.
Tributary.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah. And, I think those were what we witnessed, and they were so peaceful and so beautiful and tall, and just, it's really neat because, it also reminded me when she's talking about the significance of the bird, not structure. What's the word I'm looking for? The bird form in Chinese, and Asian, modalities in medicine. When I was doing my solitude retreat last November, there's this entire garden at the monastery where I went up to, and it is entirely made of, they have this large tree, and paper cranes are hanging from every single limb, just crane after crane after crane, and they're strung, made out of origami paper.
Oh, really?
All different colors, and there's a significance to a story that goes along with it. But I have to say, sitting in that garden, surrounded by those paper cranes, and it was very Asian and very healing and I just really connected with that garden in a way that I hadn't before. It was a true meaning for me of a peace garden, and I'll never forget it. So when she kind of talked about the meaning of the bird, I just really, my soul kind of did a little leap. I was all happy because I'm going to be going back there in a week.
That's true. That's true.
I'm going to visit that garden. I'll take some pictures.
That's right. We'll put them on our Instagram.
Really, really pretty.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the whole Qigong medicine and things like that. I think it's really beneficial. And you heard that ad that we just played. And if you guys are interested in doing this, I would highly recommend getting that course by Tristan and Peter. We do it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. And
I'm not sure what kind. Now I'm curious to ask what kind of Qigong it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel silly. Maybe I should know that. But
it's been so long since I went through the beginning of it. But they just do the power sessions. And I don't know. I think there's something about doing a moving meditation, because meditation is awesome. And I think meditation is even more powerful when you do it in the float tank, isolation chamber. But when you do meditation, it's great because you can sort of calm your mind and all that. But what's great about the moving meditation, like the Qigong, is that it allows you to focus on your movements, similar to like when you're focusing on your breath. And so, you know, if you go surfing or if you go mountain bike riding and you're on a really skinny trail going down a thing, I mean, all your attention is focused on that front wheel and not falling over, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's got to be.
Survival.
Or you're going to be flying off the side of the cliff. But, you know, all your attention is there. And it's the same way with these meditations. It's cool because when you are like surfing, if you have experience doing that, you drop in on a really big wave and there's so many factors happening all at once and you're just completely present. You know, do you shift this way? Do you shift this way? Do you move your weight? Do you try to get past the section? Do you stay high on the wave, low on the wave? There's all these different things you can do. And so you're calculating that all at once. And that's why it's such an exhilarating thing, because you're not worried about your bills. You're not worried about anything else except focusing on that one thing. And that's why sports are so great. But the Qigong is really cool because it allows you to sort of focus like she did with that pearl while you're doing the breathing and while you're doing the movements. That really help you extract yourself from almost this physical world.
Yeah, the pearl image was really important for me to have a thing to focus on. It's like your mind looks for something physical to picture. We were watching a really great video this week by Bob Proctor.
Oh, yeah.
And he talks a lot about how the mind will continually go to the conscious.
Right.
Instead of the subconscious, and it wants images. I mean, when he says think about your car, you have a symbol pop up. You know exactly in your mind what the car looks like. If he says anything about your dog, you'll picture. We live life in such symbols.
True.
That I feel like with the moving meditations and the Qigong. I mean, there's something very symbolic, and I can almost put my my sensory
sort of attention there.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's
because
really
when
great.
you gather the energy, like in Qigong, when you're bringing stuff toward you,
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like I'm like gathering light.
Yeah.
Like an orb, I'm gathering it toward me. I'm not just like doing this motion with my hands for no reason. I actually feel like I'm scooping up something of light and putting it toward my body.
I know, you think of it being like that golden ball of light.
Yeah, like when you do your chakra work.
Isn't that cool? It's
pretty neat.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's, I don't know. I just think in today's culture, people are going to have to start doing more things like this.
Mm-hmm. I think it's necessary.
It's necessary. There's going to be such a need. Like she said, she thinks Qigong's going to gain in popularity. I think float tanks.
Yep.
Sensory deprivation chambers are gonna explode.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like this is going to really, really be, I think, a necessary part
Essential.
of our culture.
Absolutely.
Because of just the erratic interaction we have with being pinged all the time with new messages and checking cell phones. And I think it's just, I think it's one of the most important things that we do.
Unfortunately, I agree. I think it's fortunate and unfortunate because people who aren't aware are going to stay unaware, but the people who kind of wake up to this, they're going to be at a whole new level of health and spirit. And it's going to be really neat for those of us who have been fortunate and blessed enough to be exposed to that. I'm excited. I'm really excited to add more of it in my life. And
that's true.
Makes me want to go get needles stuck all over me right now, but not in my head.
I know, not in your head. No.
I'm glad she could shed a little light on that one.
That was interesting.
Very.
Yeah. So on 10 a.m. on Thursday, we have Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm curious if any of you guys have taken our urine challenge.
Calling my name this week.
And if you're wondering what the heck are we talking about, listen to our last Free for All Friday show, which is episode 339, where we gave you guys a urine challenge. So you can find out more about what that is. But we have Dr. Joe Dispenza. You are the placebo on Thursday
at 10
a.m. And then Friday, we have Dr. John Bergman, our chiropractor, an amazing guy. He's been on the show twice, but he'll be on, I think, at 11 or 11:30. We'll have to confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll be Friday. And then every other week, we're going to be Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So join us on those days. We have Jeff McCombs coming up, Adam Bergstrom, Reed Davis, all kinds of really, really great people. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, life is good.
Life is good. All right. So is that about it?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. So all the links and interviews and a link to her book and everything will be at extremehealthradio.com/340. And if you guys could do us a huge favor, we'd greatly appreciate it. It would take about 2 or 3 minutes, actually about 2 minutes to do. If you can remember to go back to your computer or your iPad, if you're listening to this on the go, and go to iTunes, go to the store and sign in, and then type Extreme Health Radio, all one word, into iTunes, into the podcast or to the search bar. And then if you do Extreme Health Radio, all one word, our show will come up. And we would greatly appreciate it if you could do a rating and review and subscribe to our channel on there. And that would help us tremendously. So that would be great. And if you have any questions about any of the products that we talked about during today's show, we have
the holidays are coming up.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. And you know what we didn't mention is the fact that people can go through our link on Amazon.
Oh, please, please.
So if you are listening to this, go over to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon and then bookmark that link so that any purchases you make in the future, you can use the bookmark and that will give us credit for your order. And we make a little small commission on that. That will help pay the hosting costs and all kinds of stuff.
Keep the lights on.
Yeah, keep the lights on. So that's about it, right?
Keep our orb,
our golden ball
and happy.
Of light shining. So we would appreciate.
We need an electric orb where we can just plug it in.
all of your support and appreciation. We're just so grateful. So thank you so much. Pass the show on to your friends if you have any friends that you think might enjoy it. And I think that's about it, right?
Yes, that was amazing, you guys. Thanks for being a part and spending your hour and a half with us. It was Really, really awesome to start the day out. And we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy
excited
if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter.
That's true.
And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
She's funny. Oh, no.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. I don't even sound like me.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or